Should UKIP be a libertarian party? Over to you.
Fantastic. Yeah, I wrote an article for this for Freedom Today magazine along these lines, and it's something I was thinking about throughout the election campaign actually, and I think that absolutely the answer is yes, it should be. It's not an obvious answer. UKIP traditionally attracts supporters from across the political spectrum. That's where we come from, so you might think it's hard to have any sort of one ideological viewpoint from those. But actually what you find is among UKIP members is a common theme of support that really goes right through, and it's a dislike of the state. If we're about anything, it's about how we are governed as a structure, but it's also that we are over-governed in the first place. So it's not just how we are governed, but how much we are governed. And you find a lot of UKIP members, albeit coming from different ideological positions, actually tend to agree with the same sentiment that government interferes too much in our lives, that it should get out. You know, the freedoms that we've enjoyed for many, many decades and centuries have been stripped away, and we ought to get those back. And if you look back through history, you know, back to the Civil War, and the levellers, if you like, at the time, they were the ones that, you know, promoted popular sovereignty. You know, the concept that it's the will of the people that gives legitimacy to the government of the day, and really they were a movement about the people. And I think that is very similar to UKIP today. You know, to describe UKIP, I would say it is a party, you know, of the people, by the people, for the people. And along those lines, look at what the levellers espoused, which was, you know, honest democracy, localism, obviously sovereignty as well, popular sovereignty from the people. And I think there's sort of a long tradition that goes back. And whilst or on the surface, it may seem that our supporters come from across the political spectrum, actually it's the way we view the political spectrum that's wrong, and most of our supporters do come from a similar place on the spectrum. It's just not one that we've ever seen or looked at properly before. And so I think there's a really strong case, particularly at the moment, when all the main parties in Westminster are driving towards ever bigger government, ever higher taxation, eroding our civil liberties, pushing the ID cards, etc., etc. That there has to be an alternative voice standing up for the freedoms of the people. But it is also morally right that parties should support, you know, the freedom of the individual. And you know, the main parties have lost their way, and it's our job to put that right. So I'd say that without doubt, it is UKIP's position that we should be unashamedly a libertarian party, promoting the freedoms of individuals that the other parties don't care about anymore.